super excited. It comes in this cool package. Yeah, you just want to like get out of work and take it and go work out and see what the results are going to be. You know, it makes it fun. And, you know, I think people kind of lost that with the full disclosure. And I don't think full disclosure is bad at all. I think there's plenty of consumers that want full disclosure, and there's plenty of brands out there that are full disclosure, which is great. I just thought that was a cool part that was missing in the industry, you know, the mystery of what is this going to do for me.
Welcome to PricePlow.
What's up, PricePlow Nation? This is our first interview with the Boca James, James Boccuzzi.
What's going on?
I think this might be the first time you've if you're friends with you on Facebook, everyone sees your shenanigans, but this might be the first time you're kind of get on video, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for the people that have worked with me, they know me pretty well, but, you know, the group outside of that, the people outside of that, I don't think they really know me or have heard my story too much. So, yeah, this would be a first.
I think it's kind of cool. I've been friends with you on Facebook for a little bit now. I met you last year at the block party, but it's funny to start seeing like consumers commenting on your stuff. It's kind of, people know who you are, starting to know who you are, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, let's get into your background and do a little introduction for the channel because, you really span a very special area in the nutrition industry because you're so connected with retailers, but in the era of social media, you've really harnessed that and enabled yourself to make a name for yourself as a very like feet on the ground type of influencer. So we'd love to kind of hear how this all started and give us a little bit of background for those of you who don't know what we're all talking about right now.
Well, yeah, a little over, we're thinking like 15 years now. I started working at GNC. That was my, I always liked the fitness, the working out, and, I wanted to take it a step further, and I started taking supplements. I think the first two supplements I tried more like the Gold Standard Whey and then the Lipo 6 by Nutrex. So I went into GNC and I remember getting those, and then I was like, hey, I need a job because I was actually professionally touring, playing drums. And so I was on a tour for about 4 months, and then I came back and I needed supplements, and I was like, hey, I needed a job. So I talked to the owner of the GNC, which was actually PJ Braun's mom. And I didn't even know PJ Braun at the time. And I started working at the GNC, and from there I went to Vitamin Shop and I worked there for a little while. Then I kind of took a quick little break from supplements, and I worked for Allstate. And, I was helping USP Labs out with some demos up in Connecticut. And I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And I called USP Labs and I was like, hey guys, I like doing demos. Could I work for you guys full time? This is pretty cool. And they were like, give us a minute. And then they called me back about 10 minutes later and they offered me a job. And so that kind of started my, career working with these supplement companies. So it was USP Labs. I was there for a while, all through the Jack 3D and the Oxy Elite years, all the fun times. Then I came over and I started working with iForce for a short period of time. Right after that, that's when I started working with Blackstone Labs. I was friends with PJ because we actually worked together at a GNC. He managed one way back in the day. And he was doing the coaching. I competed a couple times and he coached me for shows, and he started Blackstone Labs, and we were good buddies at the time. So he said, hey, when I have, money to pay employees, I'll bring you on and you could work for me. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, whenever that happens. So I worked for iForce for a little while and that ended. And the next day I started with Blackstone Labs, and I was a big part of that company. I was there for a little while. And then moved on. I started working with Aaron for a little bit at Redcon. And, then I just felt like I wanted to do something that represented me a little bit better. And from there, I started working with multiple companies and helping them grow. And, that kind of spiraled into other opportunities. And from there, now I have the Chemix and the Black Magic Supply. I help out Chaos and Pain a little bit, and you will soon see Fat Lab, which is another brand by me, which will be under the Chemix and Black Magic Supply umbrella. So that's pretty like a little quick background of me.
Awesome. And we never introduced your full name. So what is your name?
James Boccuzzi.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's Ben's first introduction there. So no, that's really great and a good background. So you've kind of been around. I actually didn't know you were involved with the Jacked and Oxy Elite stuff. So that was definitely a legendary time in the industry, and that battle is still ongoing, even though USP Labs is obviously clearly out of it at this point. It's been just wild to watch. It's been like 7 years at this point. So really cool. You see a lot of people that the industry may seem very big, and it is big, like financially and everything. But there's a lot of people, a lot of pieces that it's a lot of people know each other and have worked together, and a lot of times it starts at a GNC. So for the people out there listening who are just working at a retailer, that's where a lot of the big names actually started. So just keep at it and keep doing what you love, and it sounds like you found your way a little bit. So are you a part owner of the brands that you mentioned, like Black Magic Supply, Chemix, or are you kind of the marketing guy, sales guy? Like what are your roles?
No, I'm part owner and basically CEO of Black Magic and president of the Chemix. We have a pretty big team, so I'm kind of one of the front guys pushing out the brands, but do have a pretty big team behind me. So everything you're seeing with those brands is, basically me and my team. So it's pretty cool. We really have good resources, a lot of good people helping us out. So it's definitely not just me. There's a lot of other people behind me, but I'm definitely kind of that front guy, putting his foot on the gas.
What I think is cool is that, like, at MyoBlox, I felt a lot of, like, John, right? His personality. Chemix is very, obviously the Guerrilla Chemist, but Black Magic is kind of you, right? It's kind of what you want to be doing with it, which I think we've seen you in sales a lot, but we haven't seen your personality much. So it's cool to see you kind of expressing yourself with your products in that way now.
Yeah, well, with the other companies, I was always kind of like that sales guy in the background. Even like with Blackstone Labs, I did a lot of sales. A lot of people kind of knew me for, selling millions of dollars in products. But that's because I just stayed in a room and all I did is work on these sales. And, I kept the door shut and, I didn't speak unless I was spoken to and just tried to sell as much as I could. So now I'm kind of, I have a lot of experience, so I feel like I could be the front guy and push a brand out into the mainstream. And with all that experience, because I did spend a lot of time sitting and listening and watching other people do good things and watch them do bad things and learning from mistakes. So I feel like I have a pretty good opportunity here to take a brand and bring it out into the mainstream and really see what I could do with it. So yeah, the Chemix, it is really, something we want to represent the Guerrilla Chemist. That's really important. With these brands, they are more authentic brands. So it's really important to keep them authentic. So the Chemix, it's really important to represent Guerrilla Chemist the right way. And with Black Magic, it's more of a little bit of everybody, like the guys like Black Magic, the girls like Black Magic. We have a pretty, wide variety of customers. So with that, we really want to keep it authentic and cool and, get that out to as many people as we can. So.
One of the things that I noticed with you in general is that you seem really well connected with the retailers. A lot of times, being an online company and doing so much stuff online, I see the heat online, but what I like is that you're like, you seem like you have more feet on the street and that you really know what the retailers need and want and what the people are actually like looking for on the shelves. And I think Black Magic kind of takes from that because the branding, it pops so well, and it's really mostly a black and white label, which I think is just is so cool in its sheer simplicity, but the products absolutely speak for themselves. You can have a cool label and make one sale. It's pretty clear that you have something pretty good going on with Black Magic, because I imagine after trying the Berserk, you're going to want to try something else from the brand.
Yeah, I mean, John from MyoBlox designed all the labels and did the branding, so that's his work. He actually had that brand. That was originally his idea, which he launched, I think, in summer of 2017. And, he did Black Magic as a little side project from MyoBlox. And when I started working with him in MyoBlox and we started to get that brand out there, we kind of put all the funds and all the resources into MyoBlox. And Black Magic kind of like disappeared for a little while. And when we had the opportunity to connect with some manufacturers and they were going to, do some brands with me and John, I said, hey, why don't we bring that Black Magic brand out? Because it's really cool. It looked different. It was black at the time. It had voodoo dolls on it. I'll send you guys some pictures. It was pretty cool. But John kind of redid the branding and we were able to relaunch it. And obviously, my strength has always been retail. That's what I was always just pushed to work on. I would have done anything, maybe marketing or, more corporate sales. But I was always pushed to work in that area. So I just kind of did what I was told, stayed in the area and kept working. And I feel like retail in that area, like the brick and mortar side, is always like specialty. Anytime, not even supplements, anytime you go in for anything to a specialty brick and mortar store, you get more specialty items that you usually can't find at the corporate store. So that's why when we did these brands, it was obviously perfect to get into brick and mortar retail, and they're doing very well there. So that has always been my strength. I personally like brick and mortar retail stores. I shop in them for, other things that I like, other passions that I have. So it's definitely fun to bring them something that they could have success with, especially because it's such a hard marketplace out there now with Amazon, internet, everything like that. So it's extremely cutthroat, and, I want to make sure I bring them something that they're going to have good success with and really want to get behind. So far, so good.
And I think you're also the last of an old guard where you can do both marketing and sales. You understand the needs of the consumer and the retailers as far as margins, but also the product types and the qualities behind them. But you're also like the last of some people that learned before they just started doing. I think we see a lot of pop-up small brands, Mike and I, that come to us for content and stuff like that they never worked for a brand. They don't know what they're doing. They got a small run of like 64 units, and now they're just trying to sell it online. And it's cool to see someone that put the work in before they started doing their own thing. And it's nice because I see it with the brands. I mean, when I say brands for them, I mean brick and mortars are loyal to you because they know that if you bring something to them, it's gonna be what they want and what they need. So I understand why they're loyal to you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people. I'll talk to people that hire, reps, and some of those reps have never even stepped foot in the store. I think the first 5 years that I worked for USP Labs, I was seeing 20 plus stores every day, driving all around the Northeast. I was driving to Boston one day. The next day I was in New York City. I was seeing all the vitamin shops, all the GNCs, all the brick and mortar stores. So I really got to talk to a lot of people and see things firsthand. So that definitely helped me get that edge in my position, all the traveling I did.
I think you mentioned in the call the other day, like you don't really go to stores anymore. You don't really even make phone calls anymore, right? You kind of put that off now.
Well, just because I'm so busy. I mean, I come in the office here at, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I could be here working till 11, 12, 1 at night. That's straight, because I do help with the marketing side. I do help with the sales side. I try to do as much as I can to help the brand. Once I sit down here, emails, WhatsApp, Instagram. There's just so many different ways you can connect with people right now. And I think when I build things up to where we get comfortable, then I'm definitely going to take some time and, do some traveling around and see some people face to face. But right now I'm most effective when I just come in here and get in the zone, grab my energy drinks, line them up, and just crank out for as long as I could.
What energy drinks are we talking about here?
I would say if my go-to for RTDs, I really like the Red Line Extreme.
Nice. Yep.
That has been like the staple since 2005, 2004, 2005, when they originally came in the aluminum can. Mm-hmm. Those things are great. I still drink those. And I really like the America Energy, Doug Miller's drink. I think they just nailed it with the taste. And, Doug knows what he's doing. He's been around longer than I have. So, he's not going to put out a product that is not really high quality. So I could juggle between those two, one for a little bit more hit and then one for, just to sip on the day, and I'm good.
Yeah, speaking of branding, those America Energy drinks are branded so awesome. Like, you go to the store, you got to pick up one of those. Is there going to be a Black Magic Energy drink anytime? Put a little berserk in a can?
No, I mean, we are looking at some other things, food options. We just did the Skull Dust,
right,
which is doing really well, and I think that's a really cool product. So, we'll definitely sit down and, try to figure out some creative stuff, but we really do want to focus on the supplements and making cool supplements, because you see a lot of companies, as they go mainstream, they kind of forget about the supplements. They'll make RTDs and bars and all these other things, and the supplements innovation kind of takes a back seat, which I think is great, because now I'll come in and I'll try to make really cool supplements, and I'll feel like, I'll be able to take a good part of that market by just trying to be innovative, trying to come out with some cool stuff. I mean, Guerrilla Chemist released some really, really cool products. The King of Pumps, the his Intra, and the Quarter Block. People are asking me, hey, what are these ingredients? Because they've never seen that. And so that's definitely pretty cool to, be able to do cool stuff on the supplement side and release cool products, which is really the whole point of doing these brands, is just to release really cool products. And we want the consumers to be really excited about what we're going to do, what we're going to make next, and excited to see what results are going to get.
Right.
The best way.
So you just mentioned Skull Dust, though. We got to go back to that, because people who are listening and don't know what that is are wondering what is going on with that name. So can you tell the listeners what Skull Dust is?
Yeah, it's basically, it was supposed to be in the beginning a coffee creamer. That's what we originally called it. But as I started using it more, I was just mixing it in with water. So basically it has really good fats, MCTs. It has Colombian espresso, some omegas. So this is something you could drink, and you're going to get some energy from it because it has the caffeine, but you're also kind of going to get a little bit of that brain boosting power with the fats and the omegas. So this is something anybody could add into a protein shake, add into their coffee. You could drink it just with warm water, which is what I do. Mm-hmm. And it's just a really versatile product, and the taste is amazing, in my opinion. I think the taste came out great. So, definitely we'll want to continue putting out cool, different products like that as well. So,
I think it's a cool opportunity, because you're either coming out with more on the Black Magic side, a new category / like product that there isn't like a parallel for, or Brian is taking an old category and making something that just does it in a different way. I mean, like, the pre-workout, I haven't taken it yet, but it just looks insane. The pump, I mean, I was joking with Mike that, like, I've never had a pump like that. It's just ridiculous. So he's taking something and doing it in an unconventional way, which is just so different. So it's like you guys just don't conform to any guidelines or anything at all, really. It's really cool. Like, you guys are I would define you guys as disruptive in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say a little bit. One thing I try to do is, you don't want to go completely against the grain. So you don't, whatever the trends are, you don't want to do the complete exact opposite, or else nobody's going to really take any notice. I try to do things around the trends, but also a little bit different. So you're kind of getting a little bit of both worlds. So people do take notice of what you do. It's like saying, hey, I'm going to put out a brand without a pre-workout. Who's going to, everybody starts with the pre-workout. You have to have a pre-workout. So, you kind of have to go along with the trends and then put your little own spin on it. And that seems to be effective.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It definitely works a lot because it seems like you can see the future pretty well too, and that's not something that many people can do. Are there any trends you foresee happening that won't give away any of your business ideas or anything? Anything out there that's not getting hit hard enough, or that's gonna be big in like 2020 or anything like that?
I just think we're going to see more of the cool limited editions, more of the better branding. More unique formulas. Remember when I started working with MyoBlox, MyoBlox was around for maybe like 6-7 years before I started working with them. And it was a small brand in the Bay Area. And John just kind of did his own thing, and, he was in his own little world and creating things because John's a really good creator. So I started talking with John, and I was like, hey man, this brand is really cool. And I was like, I think we could get this out there. You want to chat? And he was like, no, I don't talk to people I don't know. That was the first thing he said. And, I kind of continued to try to get in his ear a little bit. And then one day he gave me a call, and that's how we started working. And, we brought out these limited editions, which he's been doing for years. And they were like a hit. The first couple we brought out, people weren't so onto it. And then after, the first couple we did, they started to really, the demand for it. We were doing 500 units, first limited, then 1,000, then 4,000, and they were all being sold really quickly. And then after that, you kind of saw a lot of other people start doing limited editions. Every time on Stack, you see it now, oh, limited edition, limited flavor. And I'm not going to take 100% credit for that, but what we did at MyoBlox and bringing that out there definitely influenced the market, because of the internet is so powerful. You could make things look really big on the internet, bigger than what it is, so you could sell 500 units and make it look like you sold 5,000 units. So, I definitely will say that bringing back that coolness is where we're headed. You're going to have your brands that, big brands that are going to do their own thing and going to be mass market. But I think you're going to see better branding, more limiteds, cool flavors. They're just people getting more creative. And, since other brands are stepping it up in those areas, everybody else is going to have to step it up as well.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like one of the things that you've been doing that you recently launched, or you at least announced, is a collab with one of the retailers as well. Is that, and I think you mentioned that you can't have a whole new brand with them, but you could do a whole product or a whole flavor. Can you talk a little bit about some of the collabs that you are working on or you've just announced?
Yeah, well, since the cool part is Black Magic is partnered with a big manufacturer. Mm-hmm. So I have all the machines, all the materials. The resources we have are just huge. So I was sitting there, and a lot of people, do have their own brand now, but a lot of people don't. And, I was talking to stores, and they were like, hey, I should do my own brand. But then you have to actually build a brand, which is really hard, if you just don't want it to be a house brand. So I was sitting there, and I was thinking, what if you could do your own product that is collabed with a already reputable brand? Then it technically is a house product, but it's with a reputable brand. So it's not like you're just back there pushing your own stuff. And, we would do the marketing, we would do the labeling, branding, everything like that. And it's basically, it shows a partnership, with the retail store. it shows a long-term commitment to them, and they show a long-term commitment to us. So from a business standpoint, it's really cool. And then from just a creating standpoint, it's really cool because we're able to create a one-off formula. You know, we did this nootropic formula with NutraFit, which has been one of our greatest retailers. They really put a lot of effort into our brands. And, you know, we made this really cool nootropic. The flavor is insane. It's called Day Spell. So it's, you know, something you're going to take during the day when you're working, things like that. And it's cool. And I think they're going to have really good success with it. And like I said, it just shows a commitment to them, and they show a commitment to us. So, you know, in a really hard marketplace, you've got to think outside the box. You've got to do things that other people aren't doing. You know, you think about anybody who's really successful, any brand, any person, athlete, they're doing things that the competition is not doing. So, you know, if you're copying other people, you're always going to be last, you know, second, last. You know, if you're coming out with innovative things and you're thinking outside the box, you know, that's the people that are going to succeed in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I like that we talked about on our first call was you talked about kind of like the mystery of products. Like this is specifically about proprietary blends, but you kind of brought it out to the whole like taking a supplement. Like I remember when I was a kid, I haven't been in this as long as you have, James, but like when I was like 18, like buying a product, like this is the answer. This is what's going to make me jacked. Like I don't really know what this formula is, but like I know that taking this every day for the next 30 days is going to be what makes me Mr. Olympia. And I feel like you guys master that. It's not just the proprietary blends. It was a part of that, which I'd love for you to talk about. But just like the whole like product, like the consumer packaged good aspect of this, like this packaged thing, it's like, this is what's going to do it for me. It's not the citrulline in it. It's not the 5 grams of whatever. It's this whole thing put together. You know, the Guerrilla Chemist made this for me. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, when I was buying products, you know, over the years, and I still go out there and buy, you know, products that look cool and, you know, it gets me excited to try it. But I was always really excited for like new products coming out. And, you know, back in the day, you know, you didn't have like a product drop every week like you do now, but, you know, you had to wait like months for a new like Gaspari product. I remember when that Plasma Jet was coming out. Gaspari was one of probably my first favorite brand. But I remember when that Plasma Jet came out, you know, you're super excited. It comes in this cool package. Yeah, you just want to like get out of work and take it and go work out and see what the results are going to be. You know, it makes it fun. And, you know, I think people kind of lost that with the full disclosure. And I don't think full disclosure is bad at all. I think there's plenty of consumers that want full disclosure, and there's plenty of brands out there that are full disclosure, which is great. But, you know, we're trying to just do something a little bit different, a little bit more on the fun side. So when you see one of our products and people will say, well, how much is this? How much is this? And I was like, hey, and buy it and give it a try, and you tell me what you think. You know, it kind of puts that excitement back in because you don't know what you're going to get. And, you know, when people buy these products, you know, usually they're going to eat a little bit better, train a little bit more because they are spending the money on supplements. So, you know, I always think of it as that way. You know, the supplements are a positive thing, you know, because somebody is going to buy them and be excited and go to the gym and probably work out a little bit more and probably eat a little bit better because they are investing the money in supplements. So I just thought that was a cool part that was missing in the industry. You know, the mystery of what is this going to do for me? You know, you have people, if you take a pre-workout and you know it has the citrulline and everything else, and you know those exact dosages, and you go and you pick up a new product and you turn it around and it's very similar, they're going to be like, oh, well, I already know what this is going to do for me. So it kind of takes away that mystery that like, hey, what is this going to do for me? What results am I going to get? am I going to turn into Mr. Olympia overnight? So I definitely think that's something that I wanted to bring back. And, we don't do full prop blends, obviously. We do disclose some of the bigger dosed ingredients. And then, so it's kind of like half and half. You do pretty much know what you're getting in some ingredients, and the other parts, the experience, the feel, we kind of leave as a mystery. And, you guys you buy it and try it and let me know what you think. So that's what I think. It's fun that way. And, I want people to have fun with our brands. I want them to be excited to wake up and to work out and to eat better and things like that. And basically have a better life, working out and eating better and feeling good and looking better. It does improve your life. So
I think that's a fantastic and fresh explanation. And obviously, like, the dork in me wants to know every last milligram of whatever is going into my body. But at the same time, most people, when they're defending their proprietary blend, they say, hey, we put a lot of research into this, or we have a very specific blend of stimulants that we don't want anyone to really figure out. But a lot of that is kind of BS, because we can all go and lab test everyone else's stuff. You got enough money and figure out exactly how much of whatever ingredient is in there that we're looking for, whatever. But no one's ever really, and it's like to the shame of everyone else who's used that BS excuse, but no one else has ever used that story right there, that you're in it to like add a little bit of mystery and a little, mysteriousness and fun to the whole situation. And I, as much as I do love an open formula, I totally respect that, because part of the fun of when I was reviewing Berserk, when I use Berserk, is usually I can figure out what's going on in a prop blend. That one, whoever formulated it, hats off to them, because I cannot figure that thing out for a life. But I do know that the workouts are basically exactly as advertised. Like they get out there and everything, and it is a feel good, almost always super tunnel vision type of experience. And there is no doubt mystery to that product. So I like that that's kind of the way that you're spinning it, rather than saying, oh yeah, well, Guerrilla Chemist spent a lot of time, we want to protect his formula. Yeah, maybe that is true, or it's not true. We all know you can get it lab tested. Your way is just so much more fun. And I think people, at least a lot of people, can at least respect that. And they, at least after like seeing some of these reviews, they want to try Berserk. If not, because everything else about it, the label and the flavor and everything else is pretty cool. So I appreciate the fresh take on an old argument that just keeps coming back over and over and over. And sometimes, sometimes I catch heat because a lot of people don't even want me reviewing a prop blended supplement, but it's the same for me though. It's like, if I'm reviewing the same 6 grams of citrulline pre-workout every day, it's going to be the same thing every day. So once in a while, like, part of the fun of reviewing it is like, I have no clue what's going on in the supplement, but here's what happened to me. And like Berserk, I just keep using that as my example. Berserk made that fun. So thanks for giving a fresh look on that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like, a lot of people, like other review channels and things like that, and other forums are kind of just making supplements a little bit too complicated. I mean, these are just over-the-counter products. They're not like crazy drugs or anything like that. And, I have people ask me these questions, and I'm like, hey, man, it's just take it and go to the gym. It's not that complicated. Somebody was like, hey, if I only take 1 scoop of intra, will I still, see a benefit in the gym? Am I not getting enough creatine? Am I not getting enough this? I'm like, oh man, you're like, if you just want to take 1 scoop, take 1 scoop, give it a try. If you feel that it's working, then it's great. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there, so definitely going to notice something. But I feel like everybody is trying to find the perfect dose, or the one formula, the one dose that is good and the best, when really there's no good or better or best, because everybody's different. What some people take Berserk and feel nothing, and other people take it and they think it's the best thing in the world, and some people take it and think, hey, it's okay. So everybody is different. So really there is no best in the supplements. There is no, is this enough for me? I guess it's just, hey, give it a try. And if you feel like it's working, and if you feel like it's doing what you expected that product to do, then that's great. You know, we all have different expectations, and I feel that's why it's really important to tell a good story with your product. Like the Chemix, you know, people will say, hey, there's really not a lot of pump ingredients in the pre-workout. And I'll say, hey, that's the whole point. You know, we originally, Guerrilla Chemist made this crazy formula, and it would have just cost so much. It just wouldn't have worked. We wouldn't have been able to scale the business. So I was sitting with Guerrilla Chemist, and I was like, hey, man, you know, most people expect one thing to be very strong in their pre-workout. Either they want a cracked out feeling, or they want focus, or they want really good pumps. You know, nobody really comes in and they want, oh, I want everything to be the best. You know, I want the highest stim and the best pumps. You know, they kind of focus on one area. So I said, why don't you just take this product and split it into two? Do one stim product for the people that really just want to stim and really just want the energy and endurance, and then do one pump product and make it the best pump product you think you can. And that's why we call them like King of Pre-Workout and King of Pump, because he took this one product that he had and he split it into two. But that's the story we tell. And John from MyoBlox is really big on this too, you know, telling the correct story with the products and make sure that the consumers know what that story is so they know what to expect. You know, if you buy that pre-workout, the stim one, and you're expecting to be pumped out of your mind, you're probably not going to like that product. But if you buy it and you're expecting to have a lot of energy, and then you take it, your expectation is fulfilled. So you're probably really going to like that product. So yeah, I think, you know, telling the story, a product should have a good story behind it. You shouldn't just throw ingredients in there. Behind every product, we do have a story and why we did it and who is it for and things like that. So I think it helps get the message out there better, and you have less consumers that are making things so complicated. And I just feel like right now you go and you look online, there's just so much, and people are just making these over-the-counter supplements way too complicated. You know, just keep it simple. Take the supplement, work out. If you like it, that's great. If you don't, probably don't take it again. So just keep it simple.
Now,
and I feel like there's a lot of people that are trying to be like a PricePlow and trying to, you know, be an authority in the industry, and they're just putting information out there that it's not good, and it's not helping the consumer. In a way, it's confusing them more, because they're confusing me. So
that's funny. I find that ironic, though, because I mean, you said to keep it simple, but Chemix has some of the more complicated formulas we've seen. I mean, no one's put a gram of canna in anything before until that pre-workout, and you definitely feel it. So it's I don't know. I think it's funny when the guy who's running Chemix says to keep it simple, because that pump formula is, in my opinion, anything but simple. And I think Ben's use of it has kind of shown that there's something different going on there too. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's what's cool, and the brands have to be different. You know, Black Magic. Some people ask me, "Hey, you're doing Fat Lab now. Why are you doing another brand? Why don't you just do everything in one?" I was like, "Because every brand is kind of for a different group of people. You know, people will say, hey, Chemix is expensive, you know, compared to these other products," and I'm like, "Well, this is formulated for the elite supplement user, the person that has tried everything and they want to try something different. You know, the athlete that wants the most results possible." So, yeah, I mean, I feel like everything in the industry is kind of jumbled up all together, and there's really not, you know, a separation between premium, kind of really good, the middle ground, and then, you know, basically like budget supplements. You know, people are like, why does Chemix not as cheap as the budget supplement? I was like, well, they're two completely different things. And, you know, again, going back to the industry being really confusing now, you know, I feel like we're one of the only industries which everything should be priced the same, no matter pre-workouts. They all should be $29.99, and that's it. You know, everybody expects that. When, you know, in every industry, there's good and, a little bit better and higher quality. And those are separated by price too. I mean, you go in and you look at computers and there's 3 computers there. The one that's priced the most, you're probably going to think in your head, hey, that's the best. That's the reason why it's priced higher than everything else, because it must have more memory or better whatever computers. I'm not a big computer guy, but you get my point.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy, because and that's kind of where the disconnect is with our industry, is that like you said, that more expensive computer probably has more memory and people respect that. But in our industry, for some reason, if you come out with a product that has like 3 grams of beta alanine instead of 3.2 grams of beta alanine, all of a sudden, if I review that product and I give it like a good review, people are like, Ben, you're retarded. There's not 3.2 grams of beta alanine. How could you say that's a good product? Don't you know the standard is 3.2 and anything less is horrible? It won't work. It's a bad product. You're an idiot. And it's like, no, there's a demographic of people that don't care as much, and that's okay for them because it's a cheaper product. Will it give them all the same results? No. But you might be buying a cheaper computer because all you want to do is write papers. You don't have to make video games on it. You just want to write papers. And some people, that's their equivalent. They just want to go do cardio, and it's okay if they don't need the king of pumps for that.
Yeah, of course. And we wouldn't even recommend, those Chemix products for those type of users. Like we just came out with the quarter block, which is really cool. But I mean, these ingredients that Gorilla uses are really strong. And some people will come out and they'll take a full scoop of pre-workout and they're like, oh, this kicked my ass. And we're like, we tell you to take a half a scoop for a reason. I mean, these ingredients are very strong. The quarter block is really strong. I mean, that's a really cool product. I just started taking it about a week ago. And I mean, I feel like I'm almost on like CBD all day with it. It's just such a makes you so relaxed and less stressed. And I've been sleeping really good at night. And that was one of the reasons why I started working with Guerrilla Chemist. We did go back and we actually lived together for a little while when we worked at Blackstone Labs. But I mean, this guy, he has a crazy blue hair, and you look at him and he's like a DJ too. And you're like, oh, look at this guy. He's got pink hair, but he's really, really smart. He's just not a guy that's going to come out there and say, hey, I'm the best. He's not, arrogant like that. He's a quiet guy, similar to John. He's kind of quiet, keeps to himself, but he is really, really smart and really knowledgeable. And he is a real chemist. So all the products that he's ever made are really powerful. And that's why we say to people, hey, these are the most powerful supplements out there. So take a little bit less, start off slow, because it is powerful stuff.
Yeah, Chemix should not be your first pre-workout. You can go and get C4 at Walmart or at any store really, because it's sold basically everywhere. But once you graduated on a couple levels, that's when the stuff like Chemix comes out. Well, I was actually just going to ask, so what's it like working with Guerrilla Chemist? Given that he's pretty quiet, it seems like he's like in the research books a lot. Like, do you have to pull on him to get stuff out, or how's like the working? How's the duo work between you guys?
Well, I think of, Guerrilla Chemist as an artist. That's what I call him. Similar, and I think that was one of my challenges on working with artists, because I'm more of the sales guy. I worked really well with Aaron Singerman when we were at Blackstone. I was like the go hard sales guys, get it done. We would be texting at 12 a.m. on a Sunday. And, working with, like artists and people that design and create things, they basically work on their own speed, and definitely not my speed. So that was always a challenge for me. So Guerrilla Chemist, I think how he puts these formulas together, if you saw some of the dosages, you would be like, this feels so much more powerful than what I'm getting in certain things, because he just knows, he really gets it down to the exact milligram as to what he wants. And everything has to work together. I remember there was a couple of times I was like, oh, I don't like that ingredient. He's like, yeah, but it's going to do this and it's going to work with this ingredient. And I'd be like, yeah, but I don't think many people like that. They have bad reactions. And then I would try the product as a whole. And I'd be like, dude, you're right. This is like amazing. And he's like, yeah, there's a very specific reason that all these ingredients work together. And I really think of him, similar to John with his creating labels, as an artist with his creating these formulas. And I just think when you combine, I don't think you could do anything really just great yourself. You got to have a really good team. You got to have people that, excel in their areas. And I think having Guerrilla Chemist doing these crazy formulas, it just gives me the ability to offer the consumer something really cool and unique. And then, with John, with his labels and his branding and his creating, it gives me the ability to bring the consumers that looks and feels really cool too. So, these people didn't come to me. I came to them and I said, hey, I want to work with you. I think you're really, really good at what you do. And I don't want to do anything with anybody else but you guys. I want to work with the best. And, I think that's something really cool. And you've got to have a really good team. It's not like I could sit down and make all these crazy formulas myself, knowing what I know. And I can't do the graphic design like John can. So just surrounding myself and even on the manufacturing side, to have all that and all those machines and all those people behind me supporting me, I'm in a position right now where I can do really cool things. So, yeah, Guerrilla Chemist, he's a man. He's just a quiet dude, and he doesn't come out cocky and arrogant, and he's got this crazy pink hair, but he is extremely, extremely smart. I tell him to explain a product to me, and he'll explain it to me, and I'll be like, dude, I have no clue what you just said. I have no idea. Could you just try to explain it to me like I'm a normal person? And he's like, no. But we've been working on it, and he's better at explaining things a little bit simpler now. So, but yeah, he's awesome. He's a really good dude, a really good friend. So, I'm excited to see. I know he's got a lot of other formulas up his sleeve and stuff ready to go. So we have an EAA that's going to come out soon, and a nootropic powder. And he's just constantly reading and constantly researching new ingredients. And yep.
One of the things that I like about him is just kind of the same as you, is like, you can't question Brian's like contribution to society, really. But like, he was putting out free content for people on Instagram before he had any major affiliations. Like, he was just like, hey, here's a molecule, this is what it does. Like, not asking for money, not asking for a subscription, not asking for anything, just like, this is what I know, and this is how you can use it. And like, that has only strengthened people following him. So it was kind of like one of those perfect storms where we got with you. All of a sudden, people can listen to him and purchase his product, kind of purchase his personality in a bottle. Because it's just so, I'm going to say it again, that plum product was just so insane over the top. Like,
yeah,
it was
it's crazy.
It was bizarre. Like you were saying, there's, you pick one or the other. It's either energy or pump. I was doing floor presses, like laying on the floor, benching off the floor. And I racked the bar, and I thought to myself, like, I could fall asleep right now if I want. There's literally no energy in this at all, in any way possible. But then I stood up and I looked in the mirror. I was like, but goddamn, I have a pump. Like, it's like such a I don't know. It was inhuman what it was doing to me. And it just, to me, I was like, this is Guerrilla Chemist. This is just like bizarre. So
yeah, Guerrilla Chemist is not going to promote, like I said, he's not a sales guy. So he's not going to push, promote, or do anything that would tarnish his reputation. He's really big on that. He's like, if I don't believe in this, I'm not going to get behind it.
Yeah.
That's important to him. And for some people, that's really, really important. Their reputation and, what people think of them is more important than any type of money. So he's big on that. And, some people will say, oh, this is a prop blending Chemix or this and that. But Guerrilla Chemist, he's not going to put out anything that he doesn't truly fully back. So,
So that I don't know if I can put this into words, but you guys, MyoBlox was very John. Chemix is very Guerrilla Chemist. You guys don't have any kind of brands where it's like a big company feel. Like I think like Redcon is about content and just like heaviness to the company. Would you guys ever look into something feeling that way, or is that just not jive with you guys? Because you've done that. I mean, you were Blackstone and Redcon, so.
I think if you look at Blackstone and Redcon, they're two completely different animals. I mean, Blackstone still has a lot of like really, really loyal customers that are really into the supplements. And obviously Redcon is just a different animal in terms of the marketing, in terms of just their growth. And I think Aaron kind of did one thing at Blackstone Labs and he accomplished that. And now he kind of set out a different goal with himself there. So I would say our brands are a little more on the Blackstone Labs style. We were doing some really cool and really innovative kind of formulas and stuff at the time. And I think people latch on to the Blackstone Labs supplements a little more, where the Redcon is a little bit more of the branding, becoming part of like the Redcon team and things like that. So, I mean, they're very different. I don't think our brands would ever, go in the Redcon realm, and it would be nice sales wise, but I think we're a little bit more niche products. So, you could do great sales with having a niche brand. I don't sit down and think, hey, I want to be the biggest company in the world. I just want to be able to create really cool stuff and be able to scale it. So, just kind of more smaller goals.
Yeah.
And, this is kind of a new venture for me. I'm still learning a lot as I go. So I don't think it would ever be a big mass market brand because we would have to change too much. And I think we could, if we do 4 or 5 brands that really have their own calling, then we could still overall do some really crazy numbers and do great things. But I don't think we will take one brand and try to go that Redcon route. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, those guys do great things and it's really cool to watch. But I don't really think that expresses, what I'm about.
Yeah.
More about, I like the cool little niche products, like other things that I'm passionate in outside of supplements. I like the niche, the cool, I have something that everybody else doesn't have kind of thing. That has always been something I liked. So, I think I'll kind of stay in that area. I'm happy doing that, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe it'll grow to be really big. Who knows? So, but yeah, trying to take it one step at a time.
It seems like you guys are really light on your toes, that you're versatile. You can move in any direction that you need to because of the size that you keep it to. Like, if you want to come out with Skull Dust, which is, it's just such a unique, interesting product. Like, it doesn't have to fit into a huge company's mission statement. It's a cool product that you like. It's what you want. So it reflects your personality a little bit better. And if you have that huge overhead, I don't know if you can really manage all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just a different game.
Yeah.
And I think it's just cool to be in this position where we could come up with creative things and do it fast. I mean, we came up with the Day Spell formula maybe like 6, 7 weeks ago, and we were able to get samples in about 2 weeks and have that all done, and go through all the samples within 2 weeks, have it done. John, he's the man with the labels. He banged that out in 1 week. And now we have the manufacturing, which as soon as they get the labels, they're going to make our stuff that day. So just have like these, weapons that other people don't really have, which is pretty cool. So I'm able to do things faster and create different things and have the ability to try all these different ingredients. So it's pretty cool and it's fun. It's definitely fun for me and it's motivating. And, obviously I am a sales guy. That's why I was brought on to grow the brand. So, doing good numbers. It's something I have to do, but I want to have fun doing it. I don't want to have to think about the numbers. I want to think about having fun, creating cool stuff, bringing it out there, and seeing the customers get excited about that. And then in the end of the day, I could look at, sales and numbers and things like that and be happy. So.
Plus, if you're first to market with something truly unique, you don't really have to worry about numbers because you're the only guy in town selling it, right? If you got something cool, you don't have to compete because no one else is doing the same thing as you.
Yeah, the industry moves fast, so you do have to have new things, have innovative things, exciting things, good marketing, and you've got to do it before everybody else. I think that's where you see like a brand like Redcon doing really well. I've obviously worked with Aaron and I know how he works, but he doesn't take his time with things. I remember working with him and be like, Aaron, I want to do this. And he'd be like, okay, go do it. I didn't have to ask him. And that was something that I really learned that worked well. And I'm in this position now where the guys I answer to, I don't have to really ask them for much. If I want to do something, I do it. And I say, hey, check it out. And they're like, cool. But, it gives me that creative license where nobody is holding me back. And, you're just able to excel and move faster than everybody else. And like I said, that's where you see Redcon, Aaron he swings the bat. And I think that's something that's important, that somebody always told me, hey, no pitcher in baseball is just going to throw you 4 straight balls and put you on first base. You're going to have to swing the bat. If you swing and you miss, and even if you strike out, you're still going to get another at bat for the most part, but you got to take a swing. Nobody's going to just put you on base. Nobody's just going to give you success and give you these sales. You got to take a risk and a chance. So.
Amen. Especially in this industry where, the pre-workout supplement is, obviously a main thing, and the life cycle is like basically 18 months. And you see these major brands that are taking like 17 months to create that pre-workout supplement. By the time they get it out the door, it's too late. And your model clearly works a lot better with what you're doing in this space and with what the users want, because you can have, the second version of your pre-workout before the big brands even got their first one. And that makes a big deal. You got to be able to move. And it seems like you have a very good setup having the manufacturer on your side as well. So kudos to you. That's pretty informative. Did we miss anything? Is there anything else here we wanted to cover or anything? Or we definitely got to cover some more of this stuff, though, especially between both Chemix and Black Magic. And so can you spell out Fat Labs for us? Because we're going to have to get that added to the site as well and get the alerts ready to go.
Well, the Fat Lab was something I was just working on by myself. I wanted to create something that looked really different. So I partnered with this design group in the UK, and they actually work with Beats by Dre, Nike. If you ever see those Red Bull custom art cans with like the race car driver, the golf pro, they do those as well. And they do a bunch of like rap artists, album covers and things like that. So I was looking at this and I was like, these guys are hip, they have something different, something cool. So, I was like, hey guys, let's like create something really cool, a cool label. And, we're messing around, and I just wanted something out of this world. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the artwork on the first pre-workout came back and it's just crazy. So the brand is called Fat Lab, not Labs. Oh. No F, no Z. So we're doing it a little bit different. Just Lab. Just Lab. Fat Lab. PHAT Lab. And it's just going to be something that's off the wall. It's going to be different from Black Magic and Chemix. I think everybody will grasp onto that because it's just something different and a little crazy. It's not going to have any, crazy ingredients or anything like that. The formulas will be really good. There will be premium. But it's just something that's going to have a different look, a different feel to it, a different taste. And I think it's going to be a great addition to all the brands. And we've had a lot of people ask about it just because it does look so different. Awesome. But Fat Lab, no after C.
Nitpicky question, but is there a space between those two words?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So we'll put it up PricePlow.com/fat-lab, and we'll no Z, no S, no nothing, and yeah, we'll be ready and watching for those products to come out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the pre-workout pretty soon now. We got the label done. We got the formula done. We went back and forth on so many different ideas. And, you know, let's maybe do something in more of the budget area. But as we go and as we make things, you know, we just find ourselves making more premium products. So we're just going to stick in that area. You know, it's like, hey, you know, somebody's always going to have something to say. It's either too expensive or it doesn't have enough, you know, ingredients in it. So we're just going to do what we do, and that's create more premium niche products. So I'm excited. You guys will definitely be one of the first ones to get it. So we'll let you review it and see what you think.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Well, so then I think that's pretty much everything we wanted to go over.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I wanted a couple controversial topics, but that was pretty good. I think we hit a bunch. I'm sure we'll probably be doing at least another one of these with all the brands that you have coming out.
Yeah, you're so connected with everything. I think, getting a good State of the Union, at least like on a quarterly or twice a year basis. Twice a year doesn't even sound like enough with as fast as things move. So we should definitely do this more often. And it's been great to finally bring you onto the channel. So James Boccuzzi, thank you so much for joining us here at PricePlow Nation. And we have 3 brands that we'll have listed in the YouTube description where you can sign up for the alerts, because it sounds like there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. And we hope to do some maybe giveaway promotions or whatever we can get going on in the future. So sign up for those alerts, and we'll notify you when all these products start dropping.
Yeah, no, for sure. I thank you guys for having me on. I think it's definitely cool to tell a little bit of the story of the background and kind of let people know why these brands why they exist and why we're doing them. So I'm excited. You know, this is basically a warm-up year. We're testing a lot of things and seeing what's working, and it's going great so far. So I'm excited to, you know, drop some more things, and then, you know, 2020 will be in real full swing. So.
All right. We look forward to that. All
right,
thanks
cool.
again.
Welcome to PricePlow.